Hello. Welcome to the weekly Top 10 news brought to you by Solarica, the world's first online community dedicated to solar energy. On November 23, the Indian Ministry of Commerce and Industry announced that it will begin an anti-dumping investigation into solar photovoltaic cell and module imports from China, Malaysia, Taiwan and the United States. The ministry states that it has found prima facie evidence of dumping and will launch an investigation of the period between January 1, 2011 and June 30, 2012. This would cover over 600 megawatts of PV module imports, mostly in Gujarat and Batch 1 Phase 1 of the Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission. The scope of the investigation will be PV cells, whether or not assembled into modules. Similar to the US investigation, unlike this investigation, India's investigation will cover both crystalline silicon and thin-film PV products. This could impact First Solar, which has exported a large quantity of PV modules to India, aided both by US government export loans and a loophole in the domestic content requirement of the National Solar Mission that exempted thin-film PV. On November 27, ORIX Corporation, based in Tokyo, Japan, announced plans to develop up to 89.2 megawatts of solar photovoltaic plants at 18 sites in Japan. This includes the launch of a project with Kudenko Corporation, from Fukuoka, Japan, to build an 8.6 megawatts PV project on a former airfield on the Japanese island of Kyushu. The other plants will be located on land leased from companies, local governments and other landowners across Japan. Among the remaining 17 PV projects, the largest will be a 17.5 megawatts PV plant on the island of Hokkaido, with the second largest a 12.1 megawatts PV plant in Fukuoka. The majority will be 2 to 3 megawatts in size, and will be developed in 14 different prefectures. Taiwan has further decreased its feed-in tariffs for 2013 by between 9.23% and 11.88%, while simultaneously increasing its solar power capacity target by 30% according to Taiwanese newspaper, Taipei Times. The Bureau of Energy has attributed the cuts to the decreasing costs of manufacturing solar panel modules. Senior specialist at the Bureau's Energy Technology Division said the increase in the capacity target would encourage manufacturers to increase research and development. Job opportunities could be created in other industries such as architecture, engineering and steel. SEG said this could increase the total solar panel production value from $399 million this year to $454 million next year. India's Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE, has released guidelines for installing solar water heating systems on high-rise and multi-story buildings. The new guidelines include a rule of thumb for calculating the requirement of hot water at roughly 20 liters per person per day for bathing and 30 liters per person for bathing and washing, as well as 100 liters per two-bedroom apartment and 200 liters per three-bedroom apartment. The document was prepared with the participation of leading Indian solar thermal manufacturers, the University of Pune and the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. On November 23, the Fraunhofer Institute for Solar Energy Systems, based in Freiburg, Germany, commissioned a new test stand for solar thermal collectors, which aims to simulate mechanical loads under extreme climate conditions, including wind and snow loads. Fraunhofer has jointly developed this testing system with PSEAG, Freiburg, Germany. The research institute states that test results from the new system will serve as input for new test procedures and improve quality and safety standards for solar thermal collectors. The test stand can handle collectors up to a maximum of 9 square meters and 7 tons push and pull, and mechanical load tests can be carried out under extreme temperatures from -40 to 60 degrees Celsius. Fraunhofer notes that with the new test stand, it is able to answer complex questions about the mechanical stability of solar thermal collectors, including their mounting systems for roof and facade applications. Costa Rican President Laura Chinchilla has inaugurated the nation's first utility-scale solar photovoltaic plant, the 1 MW Miravals Solar Park. The plant is located on the slopes of the Miravals volcano. Miravals is also the largest operational PV plant in Central America. The project was proposed by the Costa Rican Institute of Electricity, ICE, San Jose, Costa Rica, and was supported by the nation's Ministry of Environment, Energy and Telecommunications. The plant consists of 4,300 PV modules, and is expected to generate 1.2 GWh of electricity annually, fed into the nation's electric grid. The plant was supported by a $10 million grant from the Japanese government, and $1.5 million from ICE. The Japanese grant will be used to build a second PV plant adjacent to ICE headquarters. The 1 MW Shimozaru solar power plant in Kagoshima Prefecture in southern Japan has gone online. Solar Frontier supplied approximately 6,700 thin-film modules to this utility-scale project. The opening ceremony this Friday was attended by Izumi City Mayor Toshihiko Shibuya, Kagoshima Prefectural Assembly member Fumiharu Horiguchi, Solar Frontier's General Manager of Domestic Sales Akira Ueno, and others. The 20,000 square meter power plant is operated by Izumi Solar Project KK, a joint venture company funded by several locals. Construction of the plant started in July this year. The 1,220,000 kilowatt-hours generated annually will be sold to Kyushu Electric Power Company. IHS has released a report finding that emerging markets will help to bring stability to the global solar photovoltaic industry. The report predicts that markets outside the core of Western Europe and North America, China and Japan will add up to 12 gigawatts in 2017. The IHS Solar Emerging Markets study looks at 40 national PV markets in the Asia-Pacific, Latin America, Middle East, Africa and Europe, which will total a mere 1.6 gigawatts in 2012. The report notes that while entry to these markets may include significant risks for PV companies, many also offer very strong potential for growth. The report also looks at drivers for growth in Africa and the Middle East. IHS notes that artificially low electricity prices have hindered significant renewable energy growth, but expects both an estimated 26% increase in demand and the dynamics of reliance on fossil fuels to reverse that trend by 2017. IHS also identifies increasing demand as a factor in PV market growth in Asia and Latin America, with India identified as the most promising midterm emerging Asian PV market. SunEdison LLC, based in Beltsville, Maryland, U.S. has closed on $314 million in financing for 2 solar photovoltaic projects totaling 58 megawatts in South Africa. SunEdison has secured both debt and equity financing for the 30 megawatts Wheatkip Solar Park and the 28 megawatts Southpan Solar Park, both in Limpopo Province. The company plans to begin construction of both plants in January 2013, and to commission the Southpan PV plant in January 2014 and the Wheatkip plant in April 2014. Australia hit 2 gigawatts worth of sub-100 kilowatt solar PV installations this month, with at least 45 megawatts larger than 100 kilowatts capacity in addition to this figure. According to an in-depth analysis of the Renewable Energy Certificate Registry from solar consultancy firm SunWiz, Australia's PV installations have increased despite the government's removal of incentives to support the PV industry. A series of announcements regarding the reduction in incentives and subsidies have prompted Australians to limit rapidly increasing electricity bills by installing solar panels, according to SunWiz. However, SunWiz cautioned that the 2 gigawatts milestone should not be taken as evidence that no further support for PV is needed. To the contrary, PV retailers in many states are struggling to rewrite business models to accommodate lower volumes now that the second-last boom has bust.